Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story. It's about a man who gave every last piece of himself to his community, only to find himself completely alone when he was the one who needed help. It's a story about the true cost of kindness and what it really means to love yourself. Just think about that for a second. Have you ever been that person? The one pouring so much of your energy into taking care of everyone else that you completely forget about your own needs? It's a tough spot to be in, right? Well, that question, it's at the very heart of the story we're about to explore.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story takes place in a small, quiet village, the kind surrounded by lush green fields. And this is where we meet a man named Arif. Now, Arif wasn't rich or famous or anything like that. But in this little village, he was the center of everyone's world.
Arif's kindness, well, it knew no bounds. He was the go-to guy for literally everything. A cow wanders off, Arif would go find it. A neighbor's roof springs a leak, Arif was right there, tools in hand. He'd even share what little food he had if someone was hungry. He really was the pillar of his community. Yeah, the villagers had a pretty simple way of putting it. Arif was the heart of their village. He wasn't just another person living there. He was its lifeblood. But, as we're about to find out, even the biggest hearts can get worn out. Because here's the thing. There was a hidden cost to all this generosity. Behind that tireless giving, Arif was paying a steep price, one that nobody else could see. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's pretty stark, right? For everyone else in the village, Arif was this force of nature, hauling water, mending fences, working till the sun went down. But his own place, it was literally falling apart. The roof leaked, the walls were cracked, and he kept telling himself that same old story. I'll fix it tomorrow. But tomorrow always got spent helping someone else.
And then, the breaking point finally came. One evening, after using every last bit of his strength to rescue an ox, his body just gave out. He was walking home, felt dizzy and weak, and just collapsed right there on his own doorstep. And for 2 whole days, he lay there, sick and totally alone. Everyone just figured, oh, that's Arif. He's probably busy helping someone else. It never occurred to them that maybe, just this once, he was the one who needed help.
And this is that devastating moment of realization. Lying there, helpless, it finally hits him. He had poured his entire soul into his community, but now that his own cup was bone dry, there was no one around to help fill it back up. But you know how these stories sometimes go. Right at his absolute lowest point, a visitor arrived in the village. It was a wise monk, and he was about to offer a perspective that would change absolutely everything for Arif. So the monk finds Arif, tired and pale, and he shares this simple piece of wisdom. You cannot light others' lamps, he said, if your own flame is gone. It's so simple, but so true. You can't give what you don't have. And he follows it up with another powerful image. You can't pour water for other people if your own cup is empty. Love, the monk explained, has to start with you. And with those words, it was like a light bulb went on for Arif. He finally understood that taking care of himself wasn't selfish at all. It was necessary. With this new insight, Arif stood up. Sure, his body was still weak, but for the first time in a long, long time, his mind felt crystal clear. He decided it was finally time to take care of himself. And his path to recovery wasn't some huge, complicated plan. It was just a series of small, simple steps. He started by cleaning his dusty house. Then he finally fixed that leaking roof. He even planted some flowers, bringing a little beauty back into his own life. And maybe most importantly, he made time for peace, just sitting by the river, watching the sunset, something he'd never allowed himself before. And his behavior started to change too. Instead of that automatic, instant yes to every single request, he learned to set some boundaries. He started saying things like, let me finish my own work first, and then I will come. For Arif, this was a total game changer. Now at first, the villagers didn't quite get it. You could hear them whispering, Arif has changed, confused by his new priorities. But it didn't take long for them to realize that this change wasn't just good for Arif, it was good for the whole village. They saw that this new Arif wasn't less kind, not at all. He was simply more whole. He was happier, more at peace, and now his kindness came from a place of real strength, not from a place of exhaustion. And his newfound balance became a quiet lesson for everyone else. As the widow Amina, someone Arif had helped countless times, put it,
The village's whole understanding of love started to shift. They learned from RF's example that to truly care for others, you first have to care for your own heart, your own home. And that right there is the core message of this whole story. Loving yourself first isn't selfish. It's the foundation. It's the starting point for offering real, genuine, sustainable love to the people around you. It's about giving from a full cup, not from an empty one. So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple, but man, it's not always easy to do. You have to make time to rest. You have to make time to heal. You have to take the time to love yourself first. Because as RF learned the hard way, the world doesn't need your pain or your exhaustion. It needs your light, shining bright and strong. So I'll leave you with this to think about. After hearing Arif's story, what's one small flame you can light for yourself today?